Do not buy 12 Tribes on Earth hair growth oil and hair magic elixir unless you want super healthy, gorgeous hair that grows. They have a whole line of amazing hair growth products, including hair growth leave-in conditioner spray, hair growth shampoo, hair growth spray, and hair growth butter. I'm starting to sense a theme here. They include quality natural ingredients. They smell amazing, and you can see the results for yourself. So if you're looking for healthy hair growth for your natural or relaxed hair, try 12 Tribes on Earth today.
Shalom, family. Good to see you all here. Hope you're doing well. You know, since Donald Trump took office, he has been going above and beyond to eliminate our history. And at one point, he had things removed from the Smithsonian and the Black Smithsonian, writing people, telling them their exhibit was no longer needed and sending people their exhibits back that they donated to the Smithsonian. A lot of the artifacts there were donated from the offspring of slaves or famous people from the past, and they were shipping it all back. Well, probably it was maybe May, a federal judge came in and told Donald Trump, you got to put all those displays back. Whether you like it or not, slavery is still American history. You can't have a museum with just history you like and then try to get rid of any history you don't like. So he's been desperately trying to get rid of our history because I guess it makes his people look bad. Well, Donald Trump, that's too bad. I tell you what, the Most High ain't going to forget about the history and how you treated our people. He sure ain't going to forget it. He has documented the whole thing through the angels, and you can't make it go away. These people think if you don't see it, you won't think about it. It doesn't work that way. So he was made to put it back. So now it's a new strategy. Put up signs leading into the Black Smithsonian and the Smithsonian claiming the history is not accurate. Now, it's amazing, Donald Trump. You don't have no problem with any other history, but the slavery is inaccurate. Wow, really? That's all you're concerned about? And y'all, I want you to also keep in mind, as a president, it's not the president's job to concern himself with what is in the museums. That is not his job at all. But this is what he's concerning himself with. No wonder why the country has gone to hell since he's been in office. So, anyway, make a long story short, in my opinion, putting signs outside of museums, Smithsonian and the Black Smithsonian, and saying that the history is not accurate, to me, that makes America look dumb. So, to the entire world, you got inaccurate artifacts in your museums and displays or of things that are explaining the history, even the history you don't like. You make the country look dumb. That's all this does. It makes America look stupid. So, anyway, this is his newest strategy, and I'm sure, y'all, it's going to get challenged in court, just like him putting the displays back up. It's going to be challenged in court, y'all. I don't believe. I mean, I find it hard to believe that someone is going to just deal with a sign like that being outside of a museum because Donald Trump got a problem with the history, which is too negative. Well, y'all made it too negative. It's your forefathers and all of you up until present day. You were the ones that made it negative. So why do you have a problem with it now? If you would have came here and did your own work instead of grabbing slaves, then perhaps you wouldn't be dealing with the history. But hey, that's a day late and a buck short. It is your history. It is your forefathers were terrible people. They were lazy and didn't do their own work. So now you are stuck with the history that you got. What you complaining about for? What are you doing all this complaining for now? For real. Why complain now? It's your history. You did it. Your forefathers did it. So why complain about it now? You weren't ashamed before. So I guess this is the Bible verse where they said they would hold their head down in shame. Well, it is no time to be ashamed at this stage of the game. Why be ashamed? So anyway, y'all, let's get to it. Let me share my screen. Please give me a one if you can see my screen. Yeah, they are their forefathers. That's why all this stuff still exists in the world. You know, they are their forefathers. Thank you for the ones.
Trump is now literally signposting his intent to rewrite American history by ordering warning signs for the Smithsonian. The signs, set to be installed on the walkways leading to the National Museum of American History, allege the exhibits inside don't accurately reflect our history and should be renovated. It also directs them to use other resources for accurate information, a dramatic escalation in what has been a 16-month pressure campaign against the Smithsonian, which the administration has baselessly accused of having a radical view of American history because of, quote, people who don't want you to love our country. That's the last time I checked. Donald Trump, not a historian.
No, I thought that the portrait of President Biden at the White House of the auto pen sort of gave a sense for us maybe of his historical commitment to accuracy.
January 6th.
That's right. All of this is what you do when you don't care about museums or the truth. You get to use them to troll people. And so as much as I want to make some sort of like line by line refutation of whatever he's trying to do, it just reflects a deep disregard for the premise of why this is important in the first place. And so here we are effectively having to remind people, you know, a proper nation not only has critics that are allowed to criticize the country on the basis of historical information as well as reasonable ideological perspectives, but they also do protect the places that communicate that to our kids, let alone to adults, and he cares about neither.
Trump has been fighting with the Smithsonian for months. He says the museum spends too much time on slavery, racism, sexism, and the ugly parts of American history, and not enough time celebrating America's greatness. This week, he signed an executive order directing the federal government to put warning signs outside the museum, telling visitors that what they're about to see may be inaccurate or politically biased, which is totally normal. In fact, I always thought the Smithsonian needed a banner that says the weenies who work here have TDS and don't do their research. I think we can assume this is the start of a trend because rumor has it Don and Eric have been investing billions of dollars in the signage industry. The biggest sign will have to be made for the Statue of Liberty. They could attach it to her torch. I think it should say immigrants aren't welcome. Blame Biden. At the Lincoln Memorial, they could erect a billboard that says this guy was a total moron about inequality. And they could go local too. Every public library could have a government issued sandwich board that says these books are going to make your children gay. Watch the Melania movie instead. That'll make America great, won't it? Yeah. Well, Trump, I hope you're having the day you deserve.
President Trump ordered signs placed outside the Museum of American History warning that it promotes inaccurate history. It comes, of course, as the White House is attacking the Smithsonian, accusing the institution of promoting left-wing ideology. Is there anything you can do to stop those signs from going up?
Well, we're going to explore every legislative avenue and every litigation avenue, as we've repeatedly done up until this point. Here's the thing. Black history is American history, and we are not going to let the extremists whitewash it. Not now, not ever.
All right, you want to talk about crazy, demented fucking the president that we have running this fucking country? Tell me why he has ordered for signs to go up at the Smithsonian, stating that everything that will be viewed in there is not accurate history according to his view, and that they're being redirected to go elsewhere to find out about the history of America. Now, I have said in the past that he's trying to attack everything that has to do with the legitimacy of the real history of the United States. Whether you want to admit it or not, there was slavery, there was a bunch of shit, and currently in today, 2026, we have the Nazis and the Gestapos running loose. So I don't understand why the fuck it is you got to put signs up stating that the history, the recorded history of this fucking country is not accurate just because you don't agree with it. But this is where we're at in 2026, where the own president of the United States is blatantly stating that he doesn't agree with history. So he's trying to change it and push people to, I guess, museums where the history has been altered to what he wants it to say. That is fucking vile and disgusting. That is so fucking disgusting. Oh my fuck. Oh my fuck. Anyway, there goes freedom of speech. It's been gone for a long time, but this is a perfect thing of him trying to just fucking do whatever the fuck he wants with the press, with rewriting history, which can't be rewritten anyway. But let me know in the comments. Fucking ridiculous. Let me know in the comments. Share the video. I love you guys. Have a great day. Be safe out there. God bless. Go sit down, Trump. Seriously, you're dumb.
But there is an undercurrent here of race. A lot of this is downstream from the emergence of BLM, the backlash that occurred in 2020. That became a moment when race in particular became extremely partisan, polarized, before 2020, but from 2014 on. This is about how they don't like that the American History Museum talks about the racial past of the United States. And this is a central element of Donald Trump's culture war fight, is saying, no, you're right, we can't denigrate the United States. We shouldn't talk about slavery. We shouldn't talk about race. And that's really what a lot of this is about. So not only does it play broadly to the culture war aspect and to John Meacham's point about, always being in a fight, but this particular thing is also touching on the racial anxieties of Donald Trump supporters.
Black people across this country are outraged at what is happening now with these efforts to do away with the African American Museum and all of the Smithsonian. They're outraged because they've lived too many years, been through too many struggles, suffered too many bruises, and clearly have very, very, very little to show for that sojourn here in this country. I want to be real clear about this. If you erase it, we will replace it. It's that damn simple. We don't seem to learn. If anything, we should be looking at history to learn and to make sure that we are taking advantage of what we've learned. It was Abraham Lincoln in 1848 who addressed his countrymen in Edwardsville, Illinois, and he said, and I quote, "When you have succeeded in dehumanizing the Negro, when you have put him down and made it but for him to be, but as the beast of the field, when you have extinguished his soul in this world and placed him where the ray of hope is blown out, as in the darkness of the damned, are you quite sure," he asked, "that the demon you have roused will not one day turn and rend you?" He said, "What constitutes the bulwark of our freedom and our independence? It is not," said Lincoln, "our crown and battlements. It is not our armies and our navies. It is not our bristling seacoast. All those things are not our reliance against tyranny, because they can all be turned against us without having made us weaker for the struggle. Our reliance," he said, "as Americans is in the love of liberty which God has planted deep within all of us, regardless of how we look and where we come from." He said, our reliance is in the spirit of freedom, which prides itself as the heritage of all men in all lands everywhere. And then he admonished, destroy that spirit, and you would have planted the seeds of despotism at your own doorstep. Ignore, he said, the chains of human bondage, and you prepare one day for your own limbs to wear them. Accustom, he said, to trample on the rights of other people, and you would have lost the creative genius of your own American independence, and as such, would become the fit subjects of the first cunning tyrant who rises among you. Sound familiar? History taught us and still teaches us that we can't keep making the same mistakes. So I know this is a big discussion about a lot of aspects about the museum, but I'm here as a Black man who grew up in segregation, who wasn't allowed to go certain places, who drank from a water fountain that said colored, who found his mother and his father unable to do anything other than basic day work. And if for no one else, if for them and their spirit and all the other nameless and faceless Black men in this country and Black women who made their bodies bridges, that some of us could get to the university, that some of us could get to a good job, that some of us could get to the United States, if for no other reason. I want this to go out loud and clear, and I'm not speaking just on behalf of myself. I know that I speak on behalf of so many people who are not here today. We will not let you destroy that museum. No matter how long it takes, how many battles are required, how much effort is needed, we will not allow that to happen unless you find a way to kill all of us and walk over our bodies to change history. That history is too sacred, it is too precious, and it will not be erased. Because, as I said, if you attempt to erase it, we will continue to replace it over and over and over again.
He's also attacked America's museums, the Smithsonian's, repeatedly. But now what he wants to do is put a sign in front of the Museum of American History to tell everyone coming in, kids from across the country, that the history that they're about to view is, in the president's view, not accurate, and instead direct them to other places. Wire? We don't know. Likely Truth Social, if I had to guess. People need to know what is happening in Washington, D.C. I'm going to head over to the museum later tonight and tomorrow, see where the signs, when they go up. I'll have more updates for you soon. Follow for more.
Okay. At the end of the day, it doesn't matter what Donald Trump removes or what he tries to block or put in the minds of people. Oh, the stuff you see in there is not accurate. It doesn't matter. That does not remove the judgment off of America and people like you, Donald Trump. It don't remove the judgment. The judgment is still here and it will be carried out because it is written. So all of your efforts, all in vain. That judgment is on you. I don't care if you clean the whole museum out and let people walk into empty rooms. That judgment is still on you and still on this nation. It will not go away because you try to make things disappear. And those signs, I don't believe anybody's going to pay attention to your signs at the end of the day. They're just going to be up and look stupid. Who on this earth don't know that slavery happened in America? Everybody knows this all across the world. Who don't know that? And I tell you what, my Heavenly Father knows that too. So go right ahead. Put your signs up, remove displays, do whatever. You are still under the same judgment, no matter what. So y'all, I'm going to go ahead and conclude. I got my next live at 3:45. they are putting shackles on Haitians now. They have to wear, if they want to stay in America, they got to wear an ankle monitor. So we will talk about that at 3:45. So y'all, I'm going to go ahead and conclude. I want to thank Tanya G, 1200 for the 10 jewels gold coin, and Johnny B, 85. Thank you for the 10 jewels hiding. Thank you so much for your support from my channel. I deeply appreciate it. Don't forget to pick up your hair products, and I will see you at 3:45. Shalom, family.